Hello. Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. How are you all doing today? My name is Lady Winnie. I am here today to continue our conversation about Uganda. Amor wunduju utieni ning an latien mo an antena dugo away kong wa nyak lok manok. Yeah. Pangayo ka utika winyama be. Can you hear me? Angeni chawa ne papat. Ki kamo ke kan mapat kuberi chawa ni chale i America kan kama wanwati ye tung California kan no chawa para chel kidakira peradaka bungan. So as I'm going to speak in Acholi and English. I think that makes everything, that invites everyone here to the conversation, and I don't want to miss or forget any parts of this if I do a separate video. So welcome. My name is Lady Winnie Allison. I am coming to you from the United States. I am here to continue our conversation and give you a few updates about what is happening at home in Uganda, a country that I love very, very much. Tina aduogo wekwa medeki lok ma wa no lokom tela Uganda aloka information manyen yup matika bino kumberi chawani maoneo ti gia mamala deda yup me lok lodge ki swearing in ki ngo ma wero jamine kuberi chawani dong tiki tuan bino ki tuan deja deda tuan a ba witch tuan a yela kuru matek dong loyo kuru matek deda. Okay, kumanok, give me just a second. I was saying that in Acholi, I'm going to translate. I was saying that it appears that at every stage of, hello Martin, thank you, you're welcome. Rogers, thank you for coming. I was saying that I'm here today to talk more about how every year or every stage of the, after elections or swearing in, especially this time, since Museveni came into power, he has amplified tension, confusion, oppression. It has become more and more uncomfortable. Him being in government, him transitioning into a new 5-year term, with every step closer to today, he has made Ugandans' life even more complicated. So I was just trying to give you that in Acholi. But give me just a second. Let me do something here. Okay. So we talked about, and I know that everyone has heard about the sovereignty bill passing. I don't want to stick with that very much, but I also wanted to bring to you the background. The reason why this sovereignty bill was hurried up, was introduced, and the real reason behind why that bill exists. Atika wachi bill money maukarni, pera biero logie to trial ento, tinia bieno wera titiwu pingo, ki royo bill, Museveni royo bill enini adeda, chik me gene me sovereignty ni, pingo Museveni royo adeda, ngo ma Museveni dong tika mietni tim ki bill eni, makaru jami weng. Inera Museveni petimu jami ma laboitere, Doc Jimmy Weng Mamu 7 chalo chiek Mamu 7 mogo nyokelo ineno chalo loko age limit uberu me en where a toy lodge kwanyo age limit to menano ni yak pian yang no ngarmoni kai mo gani do cher don pe ye be president Museveni ulla ko chik ene wa ko ti ire chik mo kene ma gene term limits Museveni no ni chik ma chon ni ma ko en no ko chigeno don geno cher chitamo ne wa o gine rom la ko ne ni wa ko ti pn Museveni uchero chitti matata ki law constitution no me kwanyu term limits o wa dong endo ber me dong la benara wa nga dong endo wachi en pe mero unyo to ya ilodge. I was saying that, you know, every extension of Museveni existing in Uganda's leadership has costed Ugandans or caused even further tension. The sovereignty bill was introduced and passed hurriedly because Museveni wanted to prepare something for himself. There is not a time where Museveni has thought about a law, thought about passing a law, paid the MPs millions of shillings to pass a law that benefits Ugandans. It is the same exact reason that he has recently and historically he passed the term limits, because the term limits were catching up with him. He was about to break the law in the Constitution. He decided to move that goalpost, change it. Next time he had to remove age limit. Because age limits, the Constitution was catching up with him. He decided, what can I do so that I can continue oppressing these Ugandans? He moved the goalpost of the age limits until he dies in power or something. There's a land bill that is coming. But the sovereignty bill, this is where we're at right now. Ugandans are more enlightened. You know, we can share information. We have done extreme research. We have a lot of information at hand. So I want to break down the purpose, the reason, the ingenuity of Museveni putting together a bill like this, hurriedly passing it, who it affects, really who it affects, and what plan they have in there. When I talk about in there, I mean Museveni's family. Salim Saleh Muhoozi Museveni. This one involves the Attorney General, Chiriowa Chiwanuka. As you know, the Attorney General is a partner with Museveni's son-in-law. I forget his name. I forget his name, but I think it's Rawogo. I forget his name. Anyway, Museveni's son-in-law is his own personal attorney. His personal attorney is a partner in a legal firm with the Attorney General. Do you see how these people have been fooling us for so long? Amiro titwu kamal chik me sovereignty bill enini. Gina jo chao tamo adeda. Pingo bill me sovereignty ni kikeru kiruyo bene. Petie chik mo Museveni keru. Cholo MPs oni ubinu mek uneni gineni ni ukaro. Wek chik ene moro bed Uganda. Mano chik ma konyo Ugandans. Petie kito kwanyo kede chik me mwaka ni. Makiluoni age limit. Piano mwaka chik me constitution o tieni. La dit lobo. Pero amo katu mwaka Pierre Bero. Ko Pierre Bero we bor. Pierre Bero we beach. Meno eno noni o kwaka ko. Karma dong en mwaka ne dong cher o chok o kuman. O dir gol posro. O noni parliament miero wa. O passing bill manyen. Chik manyen mayeni. La dir lobo bedwanga dota. I karma. Chake Museveni ukel constitution in Uganda in 1995. Constitution me Uganda oberu design pa Museveni kita en iyo miro. Eno weko kuberichani chik mo ke ken maloke. Museveni aye lako chike eno ni. Dok chik ene en lako kitame igin ma ubitiyu PN unyo jogangi family ne. Joganga Museveni gi kumerichawa ni. Kita dako ne don kwane peni. Wore dong antika mirutier ne ni ubengo la dit lobo. 1995 Constitution Museveni gi en uber la dit joma choyo Constitution eno kwano Constitution eno liwen kam do yeni eniramu beru. Ento tamu jomio wen kun ngeyuni. Kita ki choyo kere, rata ki kita en iyo miro kere, kita kwako kere, family ne, kita kwako kere. kita enemy makere Uganda where neni lodge me Uganda po a kitchen en na ku beri chama ni dong pedong wa beru wunu ni wek Museveni chairman obien o jome parliament charuchi beri good signing u bedong check eni po ye o miere wa neni wa kwano check wa nyamu loke wa nyang ni gini mono kwa nga. I am saying that since 1995 when Museveni decided that Uganda now needs a constitution, and he was part of the people who wrote it, even if he says other people will write it and bring to him. Museveni does not allow anything to pass that is not of his personal interest. Personal, family, children, Muhozi, daughters, wife, whatsoever. All of this since 1995, he designed a constitution that works for him, and he's run these people. When the age limit came, almost caught up with him, he designed a new one. When the term limits came, were about to catch up with him, he designed a new one. And just like now, do not ignore the sovereignty bill, because it is purposefully for him and his government. Museveni now knows that he cannot exist in Uganda. Neither will his son or whoever is supposed to be the continuance of the what is their group called? I think they call themselves the Rwandese, but there is that name. I keep forgetting that. Kabano. They always knew that when they came and got Uganda, it would be in their hand, and in fact, Uganda would become a proxy or a federation of Rwanda. They still have that goal. However, when His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu came into play, these guys have gone back to the drawing book. It is no longer business as usual. Manara yang Museveni gibini lot don Uganda. Tam giki wigi tieni omiere pegine ni loch me Uganda ni ruen ki chingi. Kagame kacha atika ketu wode awinyi wode mukena ti Burundi kacha mete yana ugam lodge kunu. I Kenya kacha akiwa ikibinero ruto hopi and water Museveni money ti mon kunu. I Tanzania bot suluhu kacha water Museveni Latina Museveni mukena ti kunu. Tie ma bodoni lodge matie de mon maluka enini. Ine anakarma Museveni bieno Museveni oberi monyu bore oberi bene top office. When Museveni came into Uganda, he was in a high-ranking office of the Obote's military. And Obote did not, well, he worked with him because Obote too was ushered in with the help of Museveni. And he positioned himself just where he wanted to be. So, we have to learn that you don't just take a pill of Museveni. Pay monyu gimoy kana Museveni gubino ukatikere. My tamani any la did lobo. Jamine, you know, ginayan tikatemneni weng P1. No. Nothing that the Museveni people are doing anymore that has to help any Ugandan. In fact, they purposely don't want to improve the Ugandan's life. The contrary is true. Johnny Ubino mekwanyu yom twin mo ke ken yo don lobo mo ke ken maramo beri ching jo Uganda. Constitution me 1995 ni. Okay, Benedict, thank you. Yes, the Constitution was designed by him in 1995. So I want to talk strategically about the sovereignty bill. Okay, give me just a second, please. Okay. Sorry about that. Something about work. Anyways, so I want to give you a picture. And this will make total sense because Museveni and his people, Salim Saleh and onward, do not believe that they can exist in Uganda with an opposition like Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. They don't believe so. Therefore, they felt a lot of pressure because they couldn't capture Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. They have figured that if they can keep Kyagulanyi from coming back into the country, then they can deal with the remnants of National Unity Platform within Uganda. For example, in several areas or districts where they have new elected members of parliament, especially the executive, the ones who are having roles in parliament and positions here and there, especially those, they want to make sure they will have by-elections in those regions, in all those districts. The Joel Senyonyi's, the powerful Zake, his district will probably have by-elections, which means they'll either be eliminated or they'll figure out a way to sue that position and wiggle in somebody new or some sort of by-election to get them into a position where they have to go back and have a rerun. And with a rerun, they will do everything under the sun to make sure that those people are rigged out like they normally do, like they did for the presidential election. Okay? So, Museveni dongeni en peramu beri lobo Uganda, I lodge me Uganda, wore muhozi ben peramu beri lodge me Uganda, teki Bobby Wine dong putie chalo opposition in Uganda. Gino we our constitution and gina bill eni guka chikere ni. Bill eni guka chikere we gine ni Bobby Wine dong po duge Uganda. Pien jami makwago bill eni weng tie jami mango ma Kyagulanyi ngeyu ngarimo nyo tiyu kwere la kirimo ni kere kenyu. Bile ni wachi jo weng bapat ki odlega unyo organization mogo en kita wachi kere ni jami ne weng miero benefiting Museveni. Petie chik mo ma en pechami ye. Unyo family ne pe berma be ye. En ni pe karo. En tek weng ma eno kero weko neno bile ni karo ki chulu MPs. Nge MPs ki meni ki million mia chel. NRM MPs magu charu chankwanzini. Museveni waibi meni ki million mia chel. Ento meni ki kong a bill kong million piera rio. So the reason why this bill was put together literally is because Museveni does not or no longer wants to have a government or have Kyagulanyi Ssentamu exist alongside him in the opposition. He does not want Kyagulanyi in Uganda whatsoever. If Museveni had a way to keep Kyagulanyi out of the country, he would. But of course, he does not. So they figured out how can they make it legally that he cannot return or exist without being incarcerated or imprisoned for a crime from this bill, this derived sovereignty bill, incriminates him somehow, which either gets him in prison or gets him to pay a fine that he cannot even imagine he can cover. Which, that is hard to believe. But he wants Kyagulanyi Ssentamu under some sort of violation of a law in Uganda. And that is why they rushed it. So because he's going to swear in on the 12th, he would like within now and then some things to happen in Uganda that pertain to this bill that keep Kyagulanyi Ssentamu out at bay, outside of the country, or makes him a criminal. Okay? So, bill en maguker eni me sovereignty ni, bill eni gimiete gitwe Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ago, wekpo dugi Uganda, unyo ka uduogo, kituki mako ne oli kwek kikeribuch. Kape enu kibigolu fine mo madira dada pian Museveni ungeyo kani Kyagulanyi bertuana ba wij mo ire ye pian manera yang opposition katie no Museveni era yo keru opposition ne bene besi je enu tuan opposition mapada in kego ini rom ber opposition makun dagoni Winnie bianyima Museveni ayo minu tij me chero ka tiji UN wa okacha en paromo chero ka tiji in ke go Bobby Wine la niano cha gange ke mako ki tweli ring ke gena ke kero gena ko lumonye Bobby Wine ke mero neko tek Bobby Wine bor le tap ki chero ka neno ka bako dako ne bene ineno Ini better position manyini besije. Ini better Kampala manaka yang pia kimako besije ni maki wono kere gene. Kimako manok we kamera ke umak no kimako. Kituki bolu ne ene yo kachani kichar ki bolu ki wai chat gango. Mono weng deal pa Museveni. Manaka yang FDC Museveni aye cholo. Giti payroll pa Museveni. Mano position mano wiye pere. Weko endong Bobby Wine piano. Bobby Wine uberu down ma Ugandan mada. O bar wi Museveni mawa komberi chawa ni Museveni peramu beru mot. Ene neno peramu cherlo mukene peramu timu gimo mukene pien nge ni wode ti tuan pero mo ke ken makonye pe pien Bobby Wine uyabu wang wen kuberi chawa ni wan wen wa mira loga pien yang no pe wangene loga beno ramu tuare down no kai bogo nying Museveni kiwa pe what nying Museveni pe ke loga kan ineno manu wangene ka down mo matero tuch konye pe ineno Waluor Museveni no Karaman Museveni ukelu pero ke kem tutwale ya choli luengu no ena yo bin go down the wo dugu diko kada bin ka kokedwu konen chatane ne kuno what gam chane ke wako anyway what made ke look may be lenini so he does not believe that since this opposition has come Chagulanyi Sentamu that he will survive. In fact, that his son, his hoodlum, will survive in Uganda. So what he has decided to do is to hurry up and make this bill so that while Chagulanyi is still out there, all these things will catch up with him as crimes. Anyway, so let's see what they've done. Okay? This bill was put together by Salim Saleh Muhoozi Museveni and Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka, who is a partner in the law firm with Museveni's personal attorney, who doubles as his son-in-law. Do you see how these people weave this stuff and think we're foolish? Bill and me sovereignty ni dana di matiye omen Museveni Salim Saleh wode Muhoozi en Museveni kikome dana makiluoni Chiriowa Chiwanuka ubera Attorney General me Uganda. Attorney General umed miero no be dana matie independent ko dana paluak mape dana matie ki wat unyo tie ki wari kina nyol rem geni party money nyo president pien teacher Attorney General beru la dit me check I lobo money ina uber la dit me check mano mier en po be dog no wat nyo o kila rem pa Museveni gi ento kay ku ka titiba Attorney General en makiluoni Chiriowa Chiwanuka ni wa gena tie ki gena office magenti ye kiluoni law firm beru office magiti lock me gena me beru lawyer enni ineno office ni giti partner ke kete an wani ngar mone wachi wabin ka chel ngar chel obed ki share nuchu pier bit no wa mi achel ko in bet ki share pier bit abet share pier bit wano wati ka chel jam chana ko don wa pogo inge nga ma John pogo office kere Attorney General me Uganda mamiero be down pa Uganda olonge tie ki company ne kun en tiki partner ki chwanya Museveni enu ne ena yo beru lawyer pa Museveni ki come chi adeda ne wonu tam ni check mo romu wok ke nyu matifair check ma itam ni check romu kati ka kenyu kun check mano romu ki ene ki wai fair ni check mano go lewa chweli do tumuba oh Dennis afoyo so wata Museveni money ni kiluoni gena chwanya Museveni kiluoni karugire Attorney General pa Uganda long kiluoni Chiriowa Chiwanuka gien gitiki office gi meche achel magiti partner magiti yuka achel en madong giti yudong kichene ba ento karugire ena la lo chik weng me Uganda mena ni tinge katen ba en kaki kermer ki wai oh kono Chief Justice uberanga kon monweng deyo jo maloyo chiri Uganda ober jo ario edini mamme kachi gena chwanya Museveni ni kimoko ki ot kaki poko ki wachi wunjo la gena la ngol ko bonini kwan chiki ene wi jo chani ma pedong ni la ngol ko buti ki wiye ki gena eno kwano we aku gen utim nga ngol ko la kirmani kenyini no chik a ki bod Johnny I ot gi ineno Johnny uloy wa kumenu Johnny uloy wa ma kai tama petie gi mo ke ken ma pe a ki ota Museveni gi chik ti ota Museveni gi la ngol kop gi madit Museveni loya ne ma oberu chwanyare na Mario lokom chik la dit gangkwan minister me gangkwan dago pa Museveni Janet la dit we mon oberanga CDF nga wore muhozi la dit we will weng me Uganda economy PDM ko nga gini weng ti we umine Salim Saleh lok mi ot lega ko weng Uganda lok mi lega lu parubaki ko weng ti we nyare patience baki luoni pastani mala jok ma be po bet pastani anyway aya mono check en awai ka nyutu anga gi matie inge bill maki luoni sovereignty bill enini oberu jammi pa Museveni gi joba Museveni gi worry or kilurem. So the people behind the sovereignty bill, Salim Saleh, Muhozi, Museveni, Attorney General Chiriowa Chiwanuka, and a few others. The time they went and raided His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's home and made it a barracks, they came across a lot of information such as account numbers, bank accounts, cash in the home, land titles, academic paperwork, everything they gathered and took with them. Ikarema Museveni gi orlumon karma kibolu kuilitap nindo par beach ki orlumon ganga Kyagulanyi wek enongi bera kunu dong daka way barracks ni ikare enune magutimu girne enune gudonyo goy oto Kyagulanyi gutimu jammi o kikwanyu jammi ma kartany ma nyur bank account o weng chene makino ye weng kikwanyo go land title mati nye inge kede gwa kede karta chigang jammi dang gwa jammi gang kunyoni bene perach ento jonyu donyo jopa Museveni gi gudonyo kukwanyu jammi o weng mago kwanyu bank account ma nyur chene pa NUP National Unity Platform kartany mi pote ki ngongo gi dana nga gi jo anga gi magutimeni ning lok maduota gugoro weng utero ko gangi utero bot Museveni tiki jami weng wa degree pa Kyagulanyi tie gang wa degree pa lutieno gutero ti gangi kacha pien Museveni no miti kubericha no miti iti en ki jami pa Kyagulanyi ma ene kwanyo ni were nen kitira mo lutu kere Kyagulanyi pero endo ki wai tor chiki ubitiyu ki jami enone. At the time that they went and raided His Excellency's home and took all of these documents, okay? A lot of bank information, different accounts, National Unity Platform documentation, all those things they took with them and took them to Museveni's home. Now, all those account details are now at play with the sovereignty bill. Here is how, okay? Museveni has mafias all over the world. Like the Swedish couple that was killed in Kampala. There was some sort of link because they worked for the Swedish bank. Museveni has mafias. Museveni has people who work for criminal organizations. Museveni has people who work for terrorist organizations because in Somalia, while he was there, he would be the one to hit and be the one to come and act as the savior, or act as the Western world would think, oh, this man is the peacekeeper of the region. And yet he's the one hitting and the one coming back to solve the problem. Museveni Museveni tieki contacts, tieki danu ne kaweng ilobo weng, kori danu mo ke ken mai romu tamone. PNN kori lweny mo time but acholi kacha LRA ni obero en ma en bill go down the wood di cheng dugi wai gena la kondano ne en ko team me eno ne obera timone o ka wen chalo Somalia ka cha kama o men wa loke ogena oberie yang luoni lion Museveni en ki ko me cher go down ko luong ni Al-Shabaab tiki down ma no rom ket na tun ko cher go down ma tek en commander dugu America don wa bara ne peacekeeper me region peacekeeper karman en ay la go lwen en ay be dak ne kuma ye neno di wi Museveni gimoy ken ma Museveni utime Uganda nya wang Mia Beach piano tema ko ka weng dok putika temone so bille enini ba Museveni kuberichani tie ki kori down moy kan lobo moy kan joma chwalo chana Uganda madwanta joma ti Al-Shabaab tie joma ti terrorist organization tie joma ti bank tie joma ti en lok me gay ni weng ti kunu so ginado Museveni meti team so with that information and all the connection with the people, you know, the LGBT community, he has some LGBT communities outside there. He has some terrorist companies or people out there, mafias. Museveni has decided to have all those people send money onto His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's accounts and National Unity Platform accounts. Man enjo maraj mati wako kuja mana titi wako wa ISIS gianga gini weng Al-Shabaab gi ma Museveni wai ko Al-Shabaab jo ni ani weng jo mogu mati gay kingonga organization ni weng Museveni do or giro enjo nene umini kwa chene wani utualu chene dong I accounts Kyagulanyi enini ki accounts pa nup enini utualu wunu chene. So those people are now sending money, scary amounts of money, into the National Unity Platform accounts and Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's accounts as they planned this whole thing. Okay? They are sending all manner of insane amounts of money onto these accounts. The goal is to have Kyagulanyi caught up in the web of the law. Gino wero gitika timekumane gimeti check en mafuru karla wo maja enini. O mak Kyagulanyi ko. Ineno pien chene eguni mado bedonyo ni mado donyo ko bene mogu do donyo ko ni dongo ubeberu nga chene matoro chik pien chiko kar Uganda ni Kyagulanyi kubedi chane do beru nga welo I Uganda chene matika ke wako ki wachi eni pedon ki yeba manyute jo mati Uganda weng miro chone machalo ajen ka pay chone chalo ajen waribuch unyo fine. Billion perio. So, Kyagulanyi will now be caught up in this web. Okay? And they're planning to make this huge because one of the things that's also sitting on them is the fact that they have been collecting money from the US aid for LGBTQ communities. Museveni has been collecting money for LGBTQ, even though he denies accepting or being supportive of LGBTQ communities in Uganda, including the parliament which passed a bill against the LGBTQ, but has been collecting that money. So now what he wants to do is to try to make Kyagulanyi look like the one who was receiving that money. Because now they have his accounts. They can doctor information such as incoming payments. Kuberichani don kimir wachi Kyagulanyi don tika toro chik pien ki wachi chene ma aki wao mire peki gam unyo chene mire pol doni Uganda ma aki wao dok Kyagulanyi kuberichani don welo Uganda en don kita chiko karne chik wachi wan weng don wango wa welo pien kari chero kamatu chai Kenya kai beru busia chero mar chai Kenya tung bora kachani iwai ke chibat chai kari dugi icham deka Uganda inde welo Uganda ba icheri mar chai Kenya we gaki kunu dong. So this makes Kyagulanyi a criminal, and they are trying to make sure that this happens so that Kyagulanyi does not return into Uganda. Chik eni kimeta Kyagulanyi dong po dugi Uganda pien ko berichani Kyagulanyi dong welo dok Kyagulanyi miere po beta gamu kurichana eni ento chana tia donya account ne kome pe Uganda ne jo chau yenyu yo Museveni gu yenyu yo mafia gima wako ni weng tika chwalu chane mogo machwalo chena ki ISIS, mogo machwalo chena ki Al-Shabaab, mogo machwalo chena ki LGBTQ, mogo machwalo organization ma pat ki wa ka cha don ti chwalo chena any account pien give me your number why do chwalo cha do rom chwalo so ki chwalo chene loke enini dong gitika yupe chirio wachiwanuka people like chirio wachiwanuka. Yes, Benedict, it can be tracked, but these people are trying to doctor it so that by the time the facts are real, they've done what they do. Since when do they follow the rules? They never do. I wish they would. Obviously, the reason why I'm talking about this is because we can be informed and so we can pay attention. Because this will get published in Uganda and it will change people's minds in a second. So Benedict, the reason why I'm saying these things is because I want people to know that when it comes to them, they will know the facts and dismiss those, or we'll have a fighting chance. But if we leave Museveni to do what he has been doing, like he wants to swear in without DR forms, if we did not put on this heat about DR forms, this would happen naturally, like it was normal. So ngarumantika wachi ento kurichana money in your information in waramu tracking or waramu yenyene or ngo kikare. Gino wega anatika wachi loka enini ati wachi ne piani kache Museveni go katriki report matero kuri loka jema giti atimene kuberi chawani matero ni chagula nibera nungu chana ki wako domi yara ki mako ko kitwe yako ni kare mukene down mukene po bingeyo kita Johnny wigi beru ka teach kere down mukene bon buye ko wai uya chagula ni kala kodo inero so anatika watchne wek diri maja ka kikero gini ko newspaper mano kikero ko page mi achiel ki wai unen kon kuomo beru ka teme mana yang wunge ni ka ochero wunge ki wang matega deda wunge we wunge ni gine ni pagina da wunge twin Museveni eno we katika teto gine. The only reason I'm coming up with this is so that you know that the last person in Uganda will know that this is not reality, that this is fake and this is not true, and that you will not think that Museveni loves you or is on your side. We have to be informed about these things. Okay? So the crime for doing this and sending this money into Uganda, the crime for Chagulanyi will be 20-year imprisonment once they have done the spread, because Chirio Wachiwanuka is going to come up with a case against Chagulanyi Sentamu, and it will go into court because the state can sue him. So the state is going to sue Chagulanyi Sentamu with this evidence of this money coming in. Okay? And with this money and information, they are also going to spread it all over newspapers and media houses. Most of the media houses that are Ugandan or that are controlled by the last family will spread all this information. All the bank accounts will be spread. All of the maps of what happened and when and all of that will be shared. That makes it almost real to some people. Okay? It will take an effort for somebody to say, you know what, let me take a look at this and let me make sure this is right. You know where I take a look in PN number alert on my phone. Okay. So atika wachi lock in mati terne work dirmada kagu keru lock in PN state dong Attorney General Chirio Wadongo obu suing chagula obu ter chagula ni court PN state rom ter dan court obu ter court ka obu ter ka do bu nyuru cha denne ni karatan mano gendo ngute mekere tatani wengu bu nyuru ko wai unen kong one po wachi uni jale ni bere tata one po wachi uni chagula ni lako one po wachi uni chagula ni beru gay one po wachi uni chagula ni bela kirmone kirene man pati ka wachi ne kumena me wachi ni jomo kene pat kid an kapiera kena in ngarmone ka de wachi timatata igangi I bedroom mi meno peticha teki pe toru check pe wono ngatu kene mono megi in ka donke wai ki chere kot ka pitu ki money mono mono megi ana be America kuman Petty chame beru police pa jo ngo madam tika timne bedroom. No, it's not my job. So down ngara chel tiki liberty. Me beru kita yani ya miro teki petor check en gina wa mete Uganda oye and no. Ni bed ma ini dana gina yu miro chalo yeah la teleni kita yu miro. Kai wachi mir dirim vi kwane mir ber dakta mir bed dakta kita yu miro kit weru ni kingo ki gene kai ki mirni wanga mirni do chope ine teki pe balu check pe tor check ma check be no be mir be check ma be pe check ma wono jo kane be en ginu wakati loko gini. Anyway, so I was saying that the reason why I'm saying this is because I want to make sure that when this comes out or comes into the media, we know where it's stemming from. Like I said, there is not a single law that is in favor of Ugandans that was made by Museveni since 1995. And all of these, the amendments are all and have all been in his favor and breaking Ugandans or any genuine opposition. Okay? So, the crime for Kyagulanyi after publishing all of this information, his crime will be disobeying or breaking the law, the sovereignty law, and his punishment will be 20 years in prison. This information will be shared to the Interpol and other countries, and to make sure that Kyagulanyi, once seen, has to be arrested, captured, and returned to Uganda for crimes he's answerable to Museveni. Because of this sovereignty bill, he will now be ineligible to be or run as president. That in itself will make NUP no longer an existent or an unacceptable existent party in Uganda. Kichike enene no donga man bale ni kaki magatoni general tak doter logikori tak don kod dongu temene uloy Kyagulanyi lokeni dongi bichwala ko lo ma woko ka wenka ma Kyagulanyi bera woriyeni dongi we unena we la bal en uber la bal ma chek mo ken lo mo ken twer ketuni tere no Kyagulanyi ka mo ken miero mak uduki bot Museveni gina Museveni miero enno gin makelwoni Interpol uber police palobo weng police yan ni mako ngar mo ken duki ka mo ken kama chek wachi uduki ye kamuti mo bali ye Interpol tie ki nying down ma timo bal ma do mano lobo mani miero mak ngati eni go ena ye cheke eni madon ki bitero non kit temo ni man gine ni kitika yupo mete na ikinni na dini ba. So Interpol is an international police. Their job is to capture and return any criminal of any national or nationality back to where they committed the crime. So once reported, they will endeavor to get all this information out to all of the Kyagulanyi stronghold places where he has been, EU, the United States, all the other countries, everywhere where he has been present. They want to rubbish everything he has done and accomplished. All of his name, he wants to rub away from the success he has made. Museveni mete rujje ma Kyagulanyi beratem ne wagoni ko weng mal jemene ober madwa deda. Okay? I forgot to mention that Mr. Chibalama, who is the founding father of National Unity Platform as a party, has passed away. In his own words, he said that he was poisoned by Museveni and Muhoozi because they wanted him to retract the party from Kyagulanyi Sentamu. Okay? Dano mao yibi yabu party ma kilwoni nupe. Kilwoni Chibalama. Oberu dano mao bi yabu party. Ento ogwako party nero. Piani karma Bobby Wine bino. Eno bino ki people power. Okay? Chimu 7 uchaya wai. Bene pe waki party. Ubechone kono nining me beru president. Ento rubao mi ki Bobby Wine make money ni. Ma Bobby Wine Jemmy weng ma entimo inoni tia nyim mada loyo kama wi Museveni gi oye Bobby Wine chero chino yo me nongu ngati eni ma beru ki part ne yang ma ogwa ko meri briefcase bena peti yukwere ni ena yo cher chigamo party la chono mi party ki bere wai ini cher la tena inde cher chingo e chichwen candle I mede ki party in anyim and dong Bobby Wine cher registering party gin chapoy we Museveni geoga why you ala tena dawa ekwe opposition in dawa ekwe and dong Bobby Wine dong dong biyo kuma ikare madong Bobby Wine dong pero la chono pero mo gamo party Bobby Museveni gumako la choma kilwoni chibalamani ki poruma pedong wache ki goya deda ki merne konero ki tuju ki poison wanga pola ta la chona don ki duki ma ki wega dong ni uchero chi dogange u dok do itone. I was speaking about the father of National Unity Platform Chibalama. When Bobby Wine came, he came as people power. You know, that was the movement. But Museveni thought, oh, he's not going to make it. He has no party to register. Chibalama was able to pass on the baton, give Bobby Wine National Unity Platform. And when Chibalama refused to take back the party from Bobby Wine, Museveni took him, beat him with his son. They tortured him for months, injected him with lots of poison, and left him to go home and die. That is how today, in his own words, as recorded a few years ago, he said that when Museveni and Muhoozi had him in detention in torture chambers, they injected him with poison. Today, Chibalama is no more, and his sacrifice has been to the people power movement. So, people power, our power. I have to run, but I wanted to at least give you that so that you're prepared for when this comes out. I hope that we've put some holes in this and they won't move forward with it. But the reason behind the sovereignty bill is all to get Bobby Wine, not any of us. Because as you see the amendments, they remove the church people, they remove certain organizations that serve the Musevenis. Because the church is in his hands. When these pastors come and speak nonsense, it's because they're fed a script from State House. Remember, they're controlled by the nude videos they have on them from somewhere in Luero. I spoke about this a few weeks ago. So, bill and sovereignty bill, ki keromere meneno ni gitoro chagulani, wek pedo dugi Uganda, wek Muhoozi do lo Uganda kita yeo mero. Kita waju kere ni dong Uganda kadong ends wana do swearing inwe, ki jeme mungma tia pon kom down we. Miete de to kita yeo mero. So, ana foi wunweng. Shout out to my people in Kitgum, Pade. I understand I have some dear friends and followers who watch me, and I know how hard it is. I know how difficult it is to get units on your phone and you watch me. Jona, danona aki Pade, ki Kitgum, ana foi wadada. I win you nano video na. Dak Latin mo endo ana maru do teacher ni wai meneno ni lo kati o bot wu afo wu men no information eni angeni tekya pian chene make to data be keno mo kana pe enta afo wu amaru wadeda ubed mabe aduogo dak dire bye.